Presented by Co-op Farm Supply Centers in Atlantic Canada.
From the best in maritime harness racing, ATV Sports presents the Provincial Cup from St. John, New Brunswick, and the Gold Cup and Saucer from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. And now, here's your host, Paul Lethbridge.
Well, hello again and welcome. Our show this time around comes to you from the Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John. And tonight, a real treat for harness racing fans. Not only are we going to bring you the $20,000 Provincial Cup race from right here in St. John, but we're also going to show you again the Gold Cup and Saucer race that was run earlier in Charlottetown. So sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. Tonight, a double dose of the finest of harness racing in the Maritimes. We'll be right back after this commercial timeout. Harness racing night here, and that's exactly what we're going to bring to you right now. First of all, let's go back to the Gold Cup and Saucer race just before we get to the Provincial Cup that we're having right here in St. John. Now, Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown Driving Park, Gold Cup and Saucer race. Henry Butler won the race in spectacular fashion. He turned the mile in 2 minutes, 3/5 seconds in a real race to the wire with Saul's Pride. So let's go back now and see that race from the driving park. We pick up the action with track announcer Kevin Gallant.
22nd edition of the Gold Cup and Saucer has Saunders Glory, Ian Moore, Pennant Play, 2, Wally Hennessy, 3, Henry Butler, Steve Maher, 4, Armbro Ultrasonic, Vince Polton, 5, Special Reward, Mike Downey, 6, Coeco, Henry Smallwood, 7, Timely Robin, Steve Mason, 8, Saul's Pride, Joe Smallwood. Here they come. They're off in Armbro Ultrasonic for the lead into the turn, racing in along the rail. 2, Henry Butler, Saunders Glory up along the rail, racing in 3. On the outside in 4, Pennant Play up along the rail in 5, Timely Robin. Saul's Pride sits in 6, Special Reward. Your trailer has to go by the 8, Coeco. They go on up the backstretch to the quarter. Armbro Ultrasonic on the outside, battling for the lead with Henry Butler. Saunders Glory sits in 3, from 4, Timely Robin. Pennant Play in 5. Saul's Pride, Coeco, Special Reward trails. Armbro Ultrasonic to the top by the quarter. Racing from 2, Henry Butler. Quarter-mile race, 29 seconds. It's Armbro Ultrasonic with the lead to the 3/8. Henry Butler racing 2, Saunders Glory in 3. Timely Robin sits in 4, from 5, Pennant Play. 6, Saul's Pride, 7, Coeco, and Special Reward trails. It's Armbro Ultrasonic with the lead as they come to the half. Henry Butler racing up on the outside in 2, Saunders Glory 3. Pennant Play on the outside 4, Timely Robin up along the rail 5. And a Special Reward, Saul's Pride, and Coeco trails. 1:01 by the half. It's Armbro Ultrasonic to the 5/8. Henry Butler up and at him on the outside in 2. Timely Robin up along the rail in 3. Saunders Glory steps it out on the outside in 4. Racing in 5, Special Reward. From 6, Pennant Play, Saul's Pride, Coeco trails. They go by the 3/4. Henry Butler on the outside to the top. Armbro Ultrasonic racing in 2. From 3, Timely Robin. Pennant Play on the outside in 4. It's Henry Butler to the 7/8. 1:30 by the 3/4. It's Henry Butler off the 7/8 turn. Armbro Ultrasonic racing 2. Here comes Saul's Pride on the outside. Henry Butler, Armbro Ultrasonic. It's Henry Butler, Armbro Ultrasonic, Saul's Pride on the outside. Gonna be Henry Butler, Saul's Pride, Armbro Ultrasonic, Coeco, Pennant Play, Special Reward, Saunders Glory, and Timely Robin. Henry Butler winning the Gold Cup and Saucer race here at the driving park for 1981.
Well, a fine finish to just a great race at the Charlottetown Driving Park in Prince Edward Island, the Gold Cup and Saucer for 1981. Well, we promised you a 2-event card tonight, so let's get to the second portion of our show. From Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John, we've got to tell you that this is probably the most successful park in the Maritimes. The people who come here consistently wager the highest average amount, and that reflects in the highest purses offered to the horsemen, of course. The track was built back in 1942. There's lots of space here for spectators in the lounge and grandstand area, and the facilities for the horses are good too. About 265 can be stabled in the paddock area at any given time. It's clean, it's well kept, and well supervised, and of course that counts for something too. The Provincial Cup. This is the 4th one run. As we mentioned, it's the highest purse offered for any maritime racing event. Of course, that draws the best field of horses. It all adds up to a fine night of racing. With me now is my good buddy Howie Trainer. Howie, welcome to our show tonight, and maybe you can tell us, what do you think about the event tonight?
I think it's shaping up the way the weather is, the way the track is, the first few races of the night, a pretty good shot at the 2-minute mile.
Well, you're our local expert tonight, and we're going to find out more about the race, and we'll be talking with you a little later on in the program. Let's talk to the man who puts it all together here at Exhibition Park Raceway, the general manager, Doug Caldwell. Now, you've got to admit right off the bat that this is not an easy undertaking, and don't be bashful.
No, there's lots of problems with it. It takes months of planning. We've been working on this particular race now for a good 2 months.
There's an awful lot of coordination that goes in between you and the rest of your employees, isn't there, Doug?
Oh, yes, there is. I mean, the time you line up your different horses outside and line your extra staff up and your pari-mutuel machinery, we fly men in from Montreal to be here in case we have pari-mutuel problems. It's a lot of coordination to it, yes.
Howie, one of the things that we seem to always touch on when we come to the big harness racing events is, are we ever going to break that sub 2-minute mile here in the Maritimes?
It's getting closer and closer and closer. This year we've had 2 trips right in 2 minutes, and it's going to come, and I personally think it's going to come this season.
Well, what do you think the chances are here tonight? What do you see on this track here? Is it a good track for a sub 2?
The track is good. They worked on the track this week. They floated it out. They've been on it all night with the hoops. The track is probably, as I mentioned earlier, in the best shape that it's ever been in this season and maybe in a couple of seasons.
Well, the rain's held off. We had a pretty fair day today here in St. John. The weather, though, is beginning to cool down very rapidly. How's that going to affect the performance of the horses here?
That definitely will have an effect. In order to have a 2-minute mile, you're going to have a warm, humid evening, a muggy type of night with no breeze at all. The conditions have to be ideal because we're not racing on the carpeted tracks that they are in the States.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you next about. The track conditions here, are they similar to what the American entries would be used to south of the border?
You'll find the tracks south of the border and the major tracks in Ontario and Quebec are probably a little bit softer. They work on them a little bit more. They have full-time people on nothing but the track. I spoke with Jimmy Doherty, who has raced at the Meadowlands and Yonkers. He's a boy who grew up here in St. John. He's one of the top drivers on the continent now. And we broached that subject, and he says that it could happen here, but everything has to be right.
Well, as we said earlier, we're going to find out, aren't we?
In just a few moments' time.
That's right. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Here at EPR, and speak with a man whose voice adds all the color and excitement to the big event races here at EPR. We're going to speak now with Ingham Palmer, the man who's going to be calling this Provincial Cup race. Ingham, how do you see the race shaping up tonight?
Well, I see it as by far the best Provincial Cup field that we've ever had, the fastest field of horses ever in the Maritimes. It's tough to pick, and I went out on the limb earlier today, and I see no reason to change. I'm going to pick one of those horses from Ontario, Highland Drummer, over McGarrett and Jimmy Doherty's horse from Yonkers Raceway. And then a little 4-year-old Pettit Play. But a lot of folks say I'm crazy. They're talking about Saul's Pride. And, you know, this is what makes horse racing interesting. But beyond any measure of a doubt, this is the best field ever assembled in the Maritimes.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that. You've been in on all 4 Provincial Cup races. You've seen what the other fields have had to offer. Do you think we're going to break the sub 2 tonight?
I think so. We've been in 2:02 and 4 the first night. The next year we come back 2 minutes and 4/5. Last year we went in 2:01 and 4. There's only one thing left, Paul, 1:59 and 4.
Well, we're just minutes away from the event, and we'll have to come back and check with you. You're going to be calling the race for us later on tonight. Right now, let's go down to the paddock area and the barns and the stables and take a look at the horses as they're getting ready to come out onto the track for tonight's feature race. As you can see, the horses are ready for the post-parade. Okay, now let's take a real close look at today's entries in our feature event.
First, we welcome back to the Maritimes Summerside native Paul Perry, who with his wife Patricia have written quite a brand to rich story with this horse. A $900 purchase. He has won over $90,000 now. A story that was carried as a hooked beats feature. From the Meadowlands and Foxborough, sporting a record of 156 and 4, Clarky Smith parades #1, Big U. Our next horse, well, his name implies that he is the pride of song, but he is indeed the pride of ball of Prince Edward Island. And he's a big current favorite of many maritime fans. Our horse of the year last year, a wonder horse this year. A 2-minute winner at Charlottetown, a 2-minute winner at Truro, the pride of Don Smith of Charlottetown. And here is Joey Smallwood, parading number 2, Saul's Pride. From a wonder horse, we go now to our own Stevie Wonder. With an APR regular, our winner, the winner of Charlottetown's prestigious Gold Cup and Saucer in 2 minutes and 3/5. For the Osprey Farms of Fredericton, Jerome Coulard of Knockaway, here's Stevie Wonder, Steve Mahar with number 3, Henry Butler. Dr. James Marshall of Washington, D.C., and his trainer driver, Wendy Dunaway, are back with us now for the 3rd year in a row. They and their horse hold our cup record 2 minutes and 4/5. All season long this year, they've been in the top class at Foxborough. He's better than ever, now sporting a new record of 1:57.3, winner of Provincial Cup 2. Here's Wendy Dunaway with KC3. Norman Jones makes his first visit to the Maritimes, but he has been around. A familiar figure at Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. He has, a couple of years ago, been Canada's representative in the rich and prestigious Roosevelt International Trot. This year, he's been racing his horse against seasons champions in North America. He's won in 1:57.4. Twice he's been race timed at 1:57. For himself and his partner, Dan Gibson of Kingston, Ontario, Norman Jones parades now number 5, Highland Drummer. Our next entry is no stranger to local fans. We saw him here last year. He was the Maritime champion last year at 2:01.4. This year, our Alexander Memorial winner in 2:01.1. He now sports a new record of 2 minutes and 4/5, taken in winning Fredericton's Walterdale Memorial. For the Moncton sportsman Romeo Boucher, EPR's leading dash winner Wally Hennessy, with his dad Joe looking on, parades number 6, Headed Play. And we welcome back now, once again, a native son of St. John, who has climbed fantastically in the world of harness racing. He has climbed to the top as a trainer driver in the U.S. Last year, he won our Provincial Cup with Vesta Baron. This year, he comes back with a horse even faster. A horse that won 1:56.4 at the Meadowlands. Last week, 1:59.1 at Yonkers. For Stephen Rowley of Mattawa, New Jersey, and the Beaver Stables of Abington, Massachusetts. St. John's, Jimmy Doherty with number 7, McGarrett N. And our final entry, another horse from the top classes at Montreal's Blue Bonnets. One who has also faced some of the top seasons champions in North America, the likes of Lime Time and Albuquerque N. This 4-year-old sports a record of 1:58.1. Last time out, last Sunday at Blue Bonnets in Montreal, he was charted in 1:56.3. He's owned by Hector Cloutier and Sons of Pembroke, Ontario. Making its first Maritime appearance, let's welcome Hector Cloutier with J.J.'s Metro.
Howie, a good-looking field we've got here for this 4th Provincial Cup. Let's run down the field and just give us your expert opinion on what you see shaping up.
First of all, I cannot pick a winner. I've looked at this card since it was drawn. I just can't pick a winner out of it. It's that competitive field. Big Hughes on the rail. Clarkie Smith driving the first time Clarkie's ever seen the horse. That's going to be a determining factor. If I was Clarkie and a driver, I'd probably just barrel him on out of there and just go as far as I can, as fast as I can. Saul's Pride's a horse that can race off the top. He can race in a hole. He can come from behind. Henry Butler's a horse that was real good the first of the year. Had a few back problems, came on later on, and is fresh off winning the Gold Cup and Saucers, people saw a few moments ago.
And he knows his track, too.
He knows his track. Stevie knows his track. This is his home track. This is where he started to race. KC3 won this race 2 years ago, and he is probably in the top 5 horses at Foxborough right now, but that's a 5/8 mile track, but he showed here 2 years ago that he can pace a half mile. Highland Drummer? Highland Drummer's a horse, looking at the card, he's a front runner, and probably Norm Jones is going to barrel him on out of there, so you're going to see a real battle for the lead. Pennant Play is a horse that the owner, Romeo Boucher, likes to race off the front. Wally Hennessy, the driver, he doesn't really care. He knows the horse can come both ways. Wally, you'll probably see looking for a hole and coming from behind.
Number 7, McGarrett N.
McGarrett N is a horse that's just right off a 59-1 trip on a half-mile track, probably the fastest half-mile track on the continent. Jimmy Doherty is a quiet guy, and he's sort of quietly confident. And J.J.'s Metro is a horse that's won over $250,000, and he's raced on half-mile, mile, 5/8, 3/4, 1/3, you name it, he's raced it, and he's going to be there.
Well, I know I've done this to you before, Howie, but I'm going to put you on the spot again tonight. Want to pick us a winner?
Number 7. McGarrett N. I think the combination of Jimmy Doherty and a horse that's raced on a half-mile track against some of the top horses at Yonkers is going to be a combination that's going to be hard to beat, but look for that photo light to be on.
Okay, Howie Trainer's best bet tonight for the 4th running of the Provincial Cup. Speaking of betting, let's go over to the pari-mutuel area and see if things are shaping up there. This large crowd of over 7,500 look to be on their way to setting an all-time high for betting totals tonight if the action at the pari-mutuel windows is any indication. And a quick look at the EPR tote board clearly shows the pre-race favorites. Among them, the number 2 entry, Saul's Pride. Also entry number 5, Highland Drummer, along with McGarrett N, the number 7 horse. Well, as you can see, there's lots of betting activity in the pari-mutuel area. People are excited. The horses are ready. The drivers are ready. The track's ready. Excitement is running high. So now let's go upstairs and join track announcer Ingham Palmer as he guides us through this 4th annual Provincial Cup.
For the early, so is K3C, and so is Highland Drummer. 3 wide into the turn. Saul's Pride the leader on the inside. Then up in between horses, KC3 is racing second. Highland Drummer goes up on the outside as KC3 takes cover behind the leader, and Highland Drummer on the outside is now second. He is winging for the lead. KC3 racing at third. J.J.'s Metro on the outside going out from 4th. The quarter in 28 and 2. They race into the top turn. Highland Drummer in command. J.J.'s Metro up and at him on the outside. Saul's Pride is third. KC3 racing 4th. Henry Butler is 5th. Then Pennant Play, McGarrett N. Big U trails. They come through the stretch onto the half, and J.J.'s Metro goes to the top on the outside. Then Highland Drummer is second. Saul's Pride racing third. J.J.'s Metro by the half. 58 and 2. Henry Butler is up moving from 5th and going on. Into the turn for the second time. J.J.'s Metro. Highland Drummer is second. Henry Butler up on the outside going on to third. Saul's Pride racing in 4th. Then Pennant Play moving 5th. KC3, McGarrett N, and Big U as they go to the 3/4. It's J.J.'s Metro. On the outside, Henry Butler. McGarrett N up way wide. 3/4, 1:29 and 4. Into the top turn. We need a quarter, better than 30 seconds for a track record. J.J.'s Metro. McGarrett N up strong on the outside, coming out from second. Highland Drummer has third. Pennant Play swings wide 4th. Henry Butler is 5th. Through the lane, it's McGarrett N and J.J.'s Metro and Pennant Play coming out. It is McGarrett N and J.J.'s Metro, Pennant Play. Here they are. 2 minutes flat.
Wow, what a race. We'll be back with the official finish and an instant replay look right after this break. A look at the last few moments of the Provincial Cup 1981. We'll pick up the action at 3/4 pole.
3/4, 1:29 and 4 into the top turn. We need a quarter, better than 30 seconds for a track record. J.J.'s Metro. McGarrett N up strong on the outside, coming out from second. Highland Drummer has third. Pennant Play swings wide 4th. Henry Butler is 5th. Through the lane, it's McGarrett N and J.J.'s Metro and Pennant Play coming out. It is McGarrett N and J.J.'s Metro, Pennant Play. Here they are, 2 minutes flat.
Here's a rundown of how the entries finished in Provincial Cup 4. Number 1, Big Hugh, 8th. Number 2, Saul's Pride, was 5th. Number 3, Henry Butler, 7th. The number 4 entry, KC3, was 6th. Number 5, Highland Drummer, finished 4th. Our number 6, Pennant Play, 2nd. McGarrett N, number 7, won the Provincial Cup. And number 8, J.J.'s Metro, was 3rd.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Provincial Cup 4, number 7, McGarrett N, and Jimmy Doherty. McGarrett and incidentally a Bay Pacey gelding, New Zealand bred, having 6 years, the Scottish Hanover from Olay. Owned by Jimmy Doherty of Clifton, New Jersey, by Stephen Roney of Matterlip, New Jersey, and by the Beaver Stables of Abington, Massachusetts. Trained and driven by Jimmy Doherty, your winner in 2 minutes flat.
Well, Howie Trainer, I guess that makes it 2 in a row. You called the Monctonian on us, and now you call a Provincial Cup 4. You had McGarrett in.
It was just a super horse race from start to finish. They barreled out of there. They were at the quarter and 28 in the piece, that half and 58 and 2, and you know there's 7,500 to 10,000 people. I don't know how many, and that just brought them because that was sub 2 minute right there. You know they come the last half and 1 apiece, and you know they could all do that, and we're going to have our mile, but. The thing about it was Jimmy Doherty showed the calm, cool driver he is and the type of driver that's won over $14 million and he's won over 3,500 races by just sitting and waiting and bingo, this is the time to move and out he comes.
It was almost as though you could see him setting up just to make that break.
You could, you know, he knew at the outset, I was talking to him the day before or 2 days ago and he told me that what he was going to do was just sort of play his race as it goes. He wasn't going to sit down and develop any pre-race strategy. He said, I'll just see what happens. If they leave in the inside of me, then he said, I'm going to look for a hole. If they don't leave in the inside of him, he said, I'll go to the top. So they did leave in the inside of him. He did find a hole, and he just timed it perfectly when to come out. And that horse went better than 3/8 of a mile on the outside, and he was still coming on again when they came home. A great race, the most exciting race I've seen in years.
Well, 2 minutes flat, I guess you can't come much closer than that, can you?
Oh, it's just a tick, eh? 1/5 of a second is the length of a horse, and that's all it is, just a tick away. And a great finish and a great race, and I don't think anyone went home disappointed. People come to the racetrack to see A, exciting, close racing, and B, speed, and they had them both right.
Got him here tonight. Well, Howie Trainer, once again, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure working with you again. Let's now go and talk to the winner of the race and see what Jimmy Doherty has to say to us.
Congratulations, Jack.
Congratulations on a well-run race. You seem to be able to do no wrong. You come up here, you pick up your horse, local boy comes back and makes good here in St. John.
Just kind of lucky, I guess, maybe.
Well, you ran a heck of a race. You did it in 2 minutes flat. You came around that half in, I think it was 58 and 2. Did you know you were in a sub 2? Did you think you could go for it?
Yeah, when we got to the half that much, and, you know, I didn't know then if I was going to win, but I knew whoever win had a shot at it.
When did you make your move?
Well, I edged him out here coming to the half, and Wally Hennessy came out with his horse, which was pretty fair. And the horse that had been parked was not just quite that brave right then, that other horse from Montreal. I looked up and I see him dead. I knew if I could ever swoop him, I'd be long gone, and that's what happened.
Well, congratulations, you're the winner of Provincial Cup number 4. Well-run race. So there you have it. That's Provincial Cup number 4 from St. John, New Brunswick. On behalf of the ATV cast and crew, thank you for joining us, and we'll say good night.